couple of really important housekeeping things in homework 2. So homework 2, first of all, I put up in Canvas announcement and I asked everybody to read the directions. So if you haven't done that, pretty important, right? But it'd be pretty hard to get through the homework assignment if you don't even understand the directions. So let's take a step back and let's understand what the task is. So we're pretending that each group is a consulting firm. So somebody's Accenture, somebody's PwC, somebody's Deloitte, whatever, right? So it doesn't matter. You don't have to come up with who you are in this class. It doesn't matter. But basically, each group is a consulting team. You've got a CEO who's saying, hey, I've got this historical data, a few years worth of history data of a company. This is a fictitious company, but the data is very rich. It's robust. It's put together by Microsoft. We've got nearly 250,000 records of data, which is a good amount. It definitely is a lot bigger than some of the smaller couple of 100 record files we've been looking at. So it's a pretty decent file size. And we're looking at a few years worth of corporate sales data, corporate profits, and you're being asked to answer some questions. When you're being asked to answer questions, there is specific format that you need to submit your answers in, right? So in reality, if this really was a true company scenario, right? If I was the CEO collecting responses from different consulting firms, I need to be able to easily compare the answers from different groups. So it is oftentimes the companies will give companies templates and say, here's a template, you need to fill it out. So this template is very, very detailed. You need to make sure you follow the rules. So we're going to use Gradescope. Some of you have had issues with Gradescope. Here's the thing. I only created and got everything set up in Gradescope last night. So if you were trying to set things up and log in before last night, it wouldn't have worked, which is okay. I got it all going last night. You should have all received an email late-ish in the evening saying you're welcome to Gradescope. We only need one of you, one person from each team to submit the assignment. Don't submit multiple ones. So the entire team will fill out the template provided, right? The provided template is a Word document. You're going to convert the Word document at the end into a PDF. You're going to convert it into PDF and you're going to upload it to Gradescope and submit it. That is a detailed, intensive step. So whoever on your team is doing the submittal has to be a detail-oriented person. If you mess that part up, you will lose points. They are administrative, general aesthetic question points, but there's no reason to lose points on simple stuff like that. So you're going to need to tag, right? The person that's going to upload is going to tag the different team members. It's going to tag the different questions. It's all explained in the Gradescope asynchronous video. So just make sure that the person that's doing it is on top of that, right? And also submits it on time. So figure out who that is on your team, and maybe they'll do a little bit less work. You figure out how you want to divvy up the work, okay? So that's one. The second thing is in Gradescope. So let's look at the template, right? So this is the directions, the midterm outline. This is the template. So the template is currently broken out to one question per page. It is critical for Gradescope to work properly that you limit your answers in the same format. So one question per page. So right now, look at that. Question 1, you're going to fill in right here the answer. So you're going to put in 2020 as an example. It's not the real answer. Month is going to be, look, January. You're going to need to put in the full month. There's instructions that say exactly what you need to do. Sales excluding tax, you're going to put in 999 to 21, making this up, right? You're going to put numbers in exactly in that format. So attention to detail matters. Now, this format is described right here. So we'll look at that in a second, but there is these bullet points right here, these little asterisks that tell us some super critical information. So let's make sure we don't ignore that. You're going to put all this in. Now, in your case, when you do it, probably clean it up so it's a little cleaner so you don't have the underscores. You could get rid of the colors, right? There's a lot of colors. You don't have to, right? Like, just it's up to you if you get rid of colors or not. But put in your answers in the format specified. So what's the format specified? Well, that's described. It's telling you put in the years as a 4-digit year. So don't put in 20, put in 2020. Put in the month as a full month name. So spell out January. Doesn't take long. Put in the sales as a full amount with no commas, with no dollars. So just to not lose points, don't do dollars. Don't do, this is what, 9. Don't do it like this, right? This is not good. You don't want to do it like this, right? So it just says put in the full number. Put in the full number exactly without dollar symbols, without commas, and round. The answers are rounded to the nearest dollars when it's numeric, when it's dollars. When it's percentages, when it's percentage, like 75.5%, the directions say don't put percentage, but put in 75.5. So whoever's filling this out, you as a team, just pay attention to the instructions. So, and then make sure that each of the questions is on a single page. So you're going to put in the answer. Then you're going to put in a visualization. You're going to paste in a copy of the visualization provided by AI that basically supports the answer. And then you're going to type up 2 to 5 sentences, short and brief, describing and saying, oh, you know what? It appears that the lowest sales in this data set is this month, and this is the amount. And as you can see here, here's this and here's that, right? You're not looking to write an essay, 2 to 5 sentences, bam, quick and easy, describe what happened in the chart, move on, right? And reference the answer in this, right? So reference and say, clearly answer the question. Hey, the answer is January 2020 had the sales amount of this, profit of this, as you could see in the chart above. This is the highest, this is the lowest, so on and so forth. The 2 to 5 sentences, don't go crazy. And then make sure that you go through and follow the format for every single one. So what else? These are the important asterisk point to read. So please provide year as a 4-digit number. That's what I already mentioned. So these are good instructions, by the way, for you to put into your ChatGPT or whatever AI tool you want to use, right? Put in, for sales and profit amounts need to be rounded to whole numbers without any of the symbols. Percentages round to 1 decimal point without percent symbol. So we just covered that, right? For any sales analysis, we've got this giant CSV file. The big CSV file has a lot of different columns. The correct column, I'm telling you, I'm pointing you to the answer, is called total excluding tax. There's another column called total including tax. If you use total including tax, you'll get wrong answers. We will give partial credit on this assignment. We'll round it up, but there's no reason for you to lose points by just not, following the instructions. So for sales, use total excluding tax. For profit, you're going to use a column called profit. There's going to be a question or two that's asking you about profit margin. Hopefully you've taken enough business classes or a basic business class that you know what profit margin is. Profit margin is a percentage. It's simply profit divided by sales. It's telling you it's 75.5% as an example. So for the profit margin, how do you calculate that? Well, it's going to be profit divided by total excluding tax, right? Profit divided by sales. For salesperson analysis, when it's asking you, hey, who's the salesperson? There's not a column called salesperson, right? The name of the column is called employee. And then finally, some of the questions ask you to exclude, right? Some of the questions ask you to exclude. Exclude first and last month of the data. If it asks you to exclude it, then you want to exclude it, right? If it doesn't ask you to exclude it, don't exclude it. So just follow the instructions for each question. Now, let's take a look. That being said, let's take a look at an example question, not here altogether. And I'm going to show you 2 different AI tools, how I was able to answer the question and the prompts I put in. So you could see here, here's an example question. So excluding 2017 Q2 and 2020 Q4, what year and quarter had the largest dollar profit and the lowest dollar profit? So this is actually 2 questions, really, in this example one. We're asking 2 questions. Which had the largest? Which had the lowest? Okay? And what were the amounts? What were the actual dollar amounts? So we're going to use GenAI to answer the question. We're going to upload the file into GenAI. We're going to make sure to answer both of the question parts. Make sure you get a visualization. And then the other real important thing is make sure when you come up with your 2 to 5 sentence justification description, you don't use GenAI for that. Actually type it out. It's 2 sentences per question, not a big deal, right? So let me show you how we tackle this question with Gemini. So with Gemini, we're going to say, hey, excluding, right? Literally copy and paste the question, right? We just reviewed it. And guess what? Look at that. It tells us right here, the answer. It tells us, hey, the largest profit happened in 2019 Q3. So I went ahead and wrote it down right here on the board, right? 2019 Q3, 704,098 points. And I went ahead and just rounded in my head. The directions say rounded, so I can do basic roundings. Hopefully you can as well, but 898. What's the lowest? 2018 Q1, 5407,385, right? Everybody good? I wrote it on the board. So we answered the questions, we're good, right? Now, it's asking me more. It's asking for more, not just the questions, but it's asking us to, what about visualization? So I simply say, hey, can you show it to me in a graph? Can you show me in a graph? And look at that, it developed a graph. The graph is actually pretty good, pretty impressive, because look, it's showing me the highest is right here on the right, and it's showing a 2019 Q3, which matches the answer that it gave, and the lowest is 2018 Q1. Now, we studied about visual cues. Visual cues say what? Something good should be green, something bad should be red. So we need to flip the colors, right? We need to flip the colors. And the other thing is, look at that. My axis on the left is cut off, right? So I don't like that. So we can ask it. In this example, I didn't ask it to do the colors, but you could have asked it. So let's pretend you can do that on your own. But now it's saying, hey, can you put more space on the left so it doesn't seem cramped? So there, you did it, and ta-da. And now if we wanted to, we could say, hey, can you switch the colors? Can you make the green red and the red green, right? Or whatever, or tell it specifically, ask it one more prompt, or combine the two in a prompt. And then for justification, this is an example. The highest profit, excluding sales, this is kind of like, this is a typo. So this should actually say, the question is asking about profit. Which year in quota had the largest profit? So the answer here, I apologize, should be the highest profit, not sales. That's the highest profit was in 2019, which was the only quarter where profit. So again, that's a typo. So this is the kind of stuff you got to pay attention to yourself. If you make this mistake, you lose minor points, but still, like, it has to match. This is clearly shown through the green bar. In the current example, it's actually the red bar, but let's assume you fixed it. In the green bar, in the bar chart provided by Gemini, which shows the total profit, right? So there we go. Beautiful. So now we have this justification. This will get you the credit you need as long as you fix the color. Now, if you didn't do the color, is that a huge deal? No, it's minor, right? Like you're still going to get partial credit. Every single question, as long as you submit something, you'll get some points. Obviously, ideally, try to get the right information. So we got that done. Now, here's the same thing with ChatGPT. This is just showing you a different take on it. Same exact question, but look at this. In this question, I put in the prompt using the attached corporate sale file, so you still have to upload the file, right? And I asked it, here's the question, but I gave it a lot of description to say, hey, give me three things. Give me the answers, right? Give me the answer. Give me the, make sure that it has the correct percentage dollar sign, right? Like, so in this case, what's the year, month? What's the dollar amounts? And give me a chart visualization. And here's the question, right? And so, ta-da, look at that. It gives me the chart. Literally from the first prompt, because my prompt was so detailed, it gave it to me. It gave me a good-looking chart, right? And besides a good-looking chart, it gave me, right here on the right, we could see profit 7040897. That's the same thing, right? And the lowest one is 5407. So it gives you the answers, it gives you the chart. And look, the colors in this is good. Literally one correct prompt in ChatGPT, we're almost good to go. What do I want to do? The only thing I would like to do is I want to put labels on these bar charts just to make it look a little bit more aesthetic, right? And I also want to round, right? Just for simplicity's sake. So go ahead and do that and say, okay, can you please add labels to the lowest and highest bars in the chart and also round to whole dollars? And there it is, bam, round it to whole dollars, and put the labels on. And look, it modified the answers, right? The rounding is done in the bar charts. We added the labels, and also the rounding is done here. So now, ta-da, we're good to go. 547385. Sorry, that's the low one, and then the high one is 7040. Okay, cool. So now you can put it in to the template and move on with life. So wait, there's more. In this example, everything worked out peachy keen. So if you were going to say, oh, wow, this is what we're going to do for the rest of the assignment, you'll be done in no time, and you'll be like, okay, easy. But the reality is it's not that easy. We are on the cutting edge of this technology. Literally a couple of months ago, you couldn't do this. The AI technology wasn't there. We're far from being perfect, okay? You will see this yourself in a matter of a couple of minutes. You'll run into issues because of hallucinations, because of limitations of AI. We're going to need to keep ourselves honest. We're going to need to double check. How are we going to do that? Using Excel. Excel is still kind of the power language of the business world. If you have not yet taken the Excel class, we have a little Excel elective here. I strongly recommend you do it. If you have taken it or currently taken it, this will come in useful now. I will show you and teach you how to answer this question in Excel in a matter of a couple of clicks. What I recommend everybody does is either pick one of two ways. You either use Excel first to actually get the right answer, and then you figure out how to give the right prompts to the right AI tool and do it that way, or you do things in an AI tool and then you spot check your answer with Excel, with pivot tables. So whichever way you do it, you want to spot check your answers. And this is a good lesson in life, because why would you want to do that? Well, you don't want to trust AI. And you'll see plenty of times it's going to be wrong. So if you were to trust AI and give the CEO incorrect information, your team isn't going to win the bid, right? Or if it's your job, you might lose your job, right? There's a lot of serious ramifications. In this class, if you might not get the best grade on this assignment. Again, we'll curve up, but like, double check your work. So Excel is a great tool, right? Obviously, if you were in the business world, you probably might want to use something more like Power BI or Tableau, a little bit more of a serious tool because Excel is limited to 1 million rows. Luckily here, we're at about a 250,000, so Excel will still work. So let me show you how to come up to the answer with Excel. So check it in Excel. What we're going to do, you can do whatever you want. I strongly recommend use pivot tables. Okay, pivot tables is the way to go. It's really quick and easy. There's other things. You can do VLOOKUPs, HLOOKUPs. You can do functions, formulas. If you're super advanced, get there your own way. I will show you the way I will do it, right? And I have done it. So let's go ahead and do it. So first of all, I want to mention something real important. Some students have had technical issues with both Gemini and Copilot. It was kind of hiccuping because of the file size, sometimes hanging, sometimes saying file size. So I just created earlier today in between the sections. You guys are the first section that's fully taken advantage of the file. There is a file here called Worldwide Importer Sales Reduced CSV. This is the file you want to use. Likewise, in assignments, if you were to go and look at homework 2, okay, homework 2 applied knowledge, you click on this. I still left the original file there because for some people they might want to use it. It doesn't matter. The results, the answers are going to be the same, but this file is half the size, so it will work faster. And for some things like Copilot, which by the way is pretty good, I've gotten really good results with Copilot, but it has a file size limitation. Copilot will work well with this file. So basically use the reduced file size, name of the game. Okay, so I'm going to take the reduced file size. Here's the reduced file size. Okay, I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to delete this so I can show you when you open the file. One thing I want to note is that if you are using a Mac, if you try to double click on the CSV file when you open it, it will not work. You need to go in, open Excel first. After you open Excel, you go to File, Open, and you open the CSV. And when you open the CSV, it'll ask you, there'll be a wizard. Don't just click Finish. The wizard, you have to go through. This is only on a Mac. And you have to change. There's little check boxes that say, how is the file formatted? It's a CSV. Means what? Comma, separated values, comma. The default on there is tab. For some reason, Excel is yet not smart enough to realize that automatically, so you need to change only for Mac users. Uncheck tabs and check commas, right? If anybody needs help with that, I'm here to help out. Nathan here is going to help me out as well. Okay, so here you have this file, you have it loaded. How do we do pivot tables? Go to Insert, Pivot Table, accept the defaults. So literally that's one click. We created a pivot table. Now what? So now we get to build this. What's the question asking us? What's the lowest total dollar profit in which year and which quarter? Which year and which quarter? So go ahead and type in the word year. This will help us find all fields, all columns, all attributes, whatever you want to call it, but in this case columns that have year. So we want to grab year 1, right? That's what it's called. Here's the years. Okay, next we're going to say quarter. So that's click 2. That's 2 clicks, right? By the way, you could just drag. You don't have to search for it. You can just scroll. Here's quarter. Drag quarter underneath year. If you accidentally dragged it above, no big deal. Well, that's not how you want it to appear. You want quarter is a subset of year. But if it doesn't work out, just take it. Any of these fields could be removed, and then you can say, no, I want to put quarter in here. Or you don't have to remove it. Honestly, you could see I'm moving them around. So do it like this: year, then quarter. Now the question is asking us for what? Profit or revenue? It's asking us for profit, right? We went through this for the example question. So I'm going to go ahead and say profit. Here it is. Okay. So here's profit. Now the simplest thing to do right now is just let's exclude manually, right? You could do filters if you want, but you don't have to. It's more complicated. Manually, we want to say, hey, it's saying to remove, not have the first and the last quarter. Why would we want to do that in the business world? Why would we not want to have the first and last quarter? Reason is because we don't know. This first quarter and the last quarter might be incomplete. The first quarter, maybe we're missing a month. We don't know. So a lot of the times when you're doing real world analysis, you oftentimes want to exclude the first quarter or the first month, the last quarter, last month, because you don't have a full month, full quarter, and then that's not apples to apples comparison. You can't compare Q2 of 2017 to Q2 of 2018 because they're incomplete. And as you can see, that's exactly the case. Look at that. Q2 is super tiny. Not necessarily because it was bad, because we don't have the full months. So in this case, let's just highlight them. Let's just highlight them and say bam. So now, when you're being asked to say what's the lowest and what's the highest, well, first of all, you can manually look through it and see, oh, look, that appears to be the lowest, right? And just highlight it for yourself. This is for you to keep yourself honest. And what's the highest? You keep going through it. Oh, there it is, right? And the highest, maybe make it green, right? This is, you're not pasting this in. The numbers match to everything we've done. If you want to, if you don't feel like dealing with decimals, rounding, you could do this, optional again. Click on this, value field settings, go to number format, number, and do 0 decimal places, right? Bam, there you go. So now hit OK, and ta-da, we now have it exactly in the format we want. Now, this works great for quarters. You can manually look through to see lowest and highest. But what if you have, one of the questions will ask you to do the same for months. You can imagine if you're doing years and months, you have a lot more, 12 months in a year. It's going to be really long. It's going to be annoying to look through, 40 plus months. So how you want to do it potentially is just looking and saying, hey, we need to know the min and the max. Just say max equal to, there's a function called max. And now while holding control, go ahead and select all periods. Make sure you don't select the years, right? You only select the quarters, and make sure you don't select the ones that are excluded. So while holding control, grab these two, grab all 4 quarters here, grab all 4 quarters here, and same thing for months in the future. And then these 3 quarters, make sure they're excluded ones while still holding control down, enter, and there, ta-da, there's your answer. So there's multiple ways you can visually get there. If you want to do min, by the way, so you don't have to go through the whole holding control exercise, you can just come right here, copy the entire formula, put in min, paste the formula in, and just change the wording from max to min. Okay, ta-da. So there you go. You get the answers both ways. So in this case, both Gemini and ChatGPT, we were lucky enough it gave us the right answers, so we could have used Excel pivot tables to double check. Other times, I will show you question 1, ChatGPT steered me wrong, and so I needed to have Excel to give me the right answer. So final food for thought. When you are using Gemini, please make sure on the Gemini front, when you log in, the default right here in the upper left is Flash. That's not the one you want to use. That's not the version that allows you to upload files. You want to use the Pro. So use 2.5 Pro. So you will need to click on this. This is what's going to be. This is not going to work for you. Change it to Pro. That's step number 1. Step number 2, it's any point in time, if it starts acting funky, it's uploading, first of all, use the reduced file. But if it's hanging or giving you weird stuff, sometimes it just gets hung up. It's still software. It's far from perfect. Sometimes you might want to just create a new chat. Create a new chat, start over, right? And you might want to have a different chat per question, right? It doesn't matter. I think it's nice to do them all in one chat because you don't have to keep re-uploading the file, okay? Final advice. ChatGPT works a lot better if you have Plus. If you only need 1 Plus account, you don't really need it. It's a recommendation. It's not a must. It's recommended. Have a Plus account for 1 member, just to have more capability. The cost is $20 a month. You only need it for a month because you need it for this assignment and homework 3. So if you already have somebody on the team that has ChatGPT Plus, great, you're in good shape. If you don't, throw in $3-4 together, how many people there are on the team, and you will be in good shape. Okay. So any questions before you get started? If there are no questions, I'm going to pause the recording. I will resume and record the answer to question 1. I want to give you time. We'll come back about 10-15 minutes before the class is over, and I will show you the answer to question 1 and how to work through it. Okay. Good luck. Nathan and I are here to help if you have questions. Okay. Okay, so I've resumed the recording for everybody to review later. So I think it's important to kind of do a little bit of a level setting. So as you can see, some of the AI tools aren't working as intended, right? Some people are struggling with Gemini, Copilot, not a fault of your own. The technology is supposed to be working okay, but for some reason it's not. So sometimes that happens. And so that's why we tried different tools. We tried 5 AI tools or 6 even, or 4 at least on homework 1. So if you get stuck with one tool, go ahead and switch to another. If need be, pay the $20 for Plus, and hopefully that'll get you where you need to go. Again, Excel is a great way to start. So that being said, let's go ahead and work and get the answer for question 1 in the template with Excel. So I'm going to show you how to do it. you'll have the answer. So here is my template. Okay, oops, that's not the template. That's my mistake. So here's the template. Here's the question. What is the, nope, that's not even the question. That's a different question. All right, I'm gonna show you some important stuff. So this was all made up, right? This is question 1. What, excluding the first and last month in the data, again, we know the business reason why. We wanna make sure that we're using complete months. What year and month had the lowest dollar sales from all periods? So I'm gonna go in to my CSV file. So just to show everybody again how to do this from scratch, I'm gonna do it from scratch, why not? Again, this is just the file. Make sure, it's a good idea, by the way, some of you have or done this already, some of you have not. When you open this CSV file, go ahead and save it. Save it as an Excel file, because as a CSV file, if you save it, it'll get rid of all your pivot tables, right? So here's how I would get organized. This actually lets me click. Put in the word Excel, Excel homework 2, whatever you want to call it. Bam. Wait, I didn't do it. That was a mistake. So don't do that. Okay. What I did here was stupid. So that's my mistake because I was rushing. Change this right here. Call it XLX. So I'm going to go ahead now and just get rid of all this and call it Excel homework 2. And this is an Excel file. So now we're good to go. So from a housekeeping thing, this is just my file, nothing else. What I want to do now is build my first pivot table. So again, insert pivot table, accept the defaults. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to just call this Q1. Why not, right? Just get organized. There's no, you can always make a copy of the sheet with different pivot tables. Don't overload this. So for the first one, it's asking me year. So go ahead and grab year. It's year and month. Year. Let's grab month next. I like to type. You can scroll if you want. Right? Grab month. So here it is. Year and month. And then the last thing, let's go back. Let's do a little bit of an honesty check. Is it asking me for had the lowest dollar sales? So lowest dollar sales is, my computer is running slowly. If anybody's having computer issues, like your computer's running slowly, good idea, restart it. We have a lot of stuff open, see if it works any better. Go down to the computer lab. Computer lab has powerful desktops. You can use that, Cobalt 142, okay? So here we go. So we want to use sales. So sales, we already know for sales is going to be total, excluding taxes. Excluding, right? So bam, grab it in. And so there we go. We have this, but guess what? Remember, we wanted to exclude the first month and the last month. So we're excluding May of 2017. And we're excluding, this is again following the same trick. You don't have to use this trick. You can filter it out. There's many different ways you can do this, okay? It's just one of many ways, okay? And so now we want to say which one had the min. So because I don't manually want to go look through this, by the way, you could take it, you could sort it, you can copy it another one. I'm just going to use the formula, min, right? It's asking me what is, it's asking me for the min, right? So min, and now excluding those, go ahead and holding control, grab all of the months. Don't grab the year totals, even though honestly in this case it's not going to hurt because the year totals are so high, but still make sure you don't grab the ones in red. While holding control, press enter. And so there we go. So we could see it's 328577. If you want to, you can now find it, 328577. Oops, typed it, 3287577. So there it is, January of 2018. So there's our answer, January of 2018. So now I can fill in the template. What's the year? Put in 2018. Oops, 18. What's the month? Put in January. What is the sales, excluding tax? Well, the number is 3287577. So put it in exactly how it said, 3287577. What's the profit? Well, guess what? We don't have profit. Is that a problem? Not at all. Go ahead and grab right here, profit. Profit goes like that. Bam. There's profit. So now the answer is profit. Now we might want to format profit. So let's do that real quick. Value field settings, number format. Change it to, we could do currency, but we don't want to do currency. We want to do number. Right? Again, we don't have to do it. We can just round in our own head. Okay, there it is. So the profit is 161637256. Okay, 163, 1637256. That is the answer. There you go. This is a gift to you. Now, I'm going to show you real quick how annoying ChatGPT was. This was really recently, ChatGPT Plus. When I asked it the same question, real quick, here is the question. The question in ChatGPT was, hey, I asked it the same stuff. I put in all the asterisks. I said, go ahead and make sure you use total excluding tax. Make sure you filter out the periods, all the same stuff directly from the instructions. And I said, okay, go ahead and paste in the question directly. So I literally, from the template, I pasted it in, and guess what it did? It gave me, first of all, a pretty poor looking chart. Second of all, it gave me May 2017. Okay, well, anybody see an issue with May 2017? Yeah, what's the issue? It's a first month. The directions clearly said excluding the first month, excluding the first and last month in the data. Guess what? When we see it in an Excel file, May 2017 exactly is the first month. So then I had to argue with it. I had to go through with ChatGPT and tell it, no, you know what? That's not the first month. And it told me, oh yeah, you're right. It's not the first month. October 2017, the true first month after I told it it's not May, is October. Well, what is it doing? I mean, seriously, it's kind of frustrating, okay? I'm just telling you. I know it's a multi-billion-dollar company, but October does not come before, I mean, it's not the first month, no matter how you slice and dice it. So then I have to tell it again, stop it. Stop being annoying. It's not October. It's not May is the first month. Exclude May only and tell me the lowest one. And finally, on the third attempt, it said finally, okay, there you go. So it give you the answer, right? And then I didn't go as far. You now need to go in and massage the chart, okay? Couple of other things I want to cover. Again, if you're having issues, there's other AI tools. You don't have to limit yourself to Gemini, Copilot, and ChatGPT. If you want to, do yourself a favor, pay $20 for one person and upgrade to ChatGPT Plus, only for a month, right? There's no textbook in this class. That should be your only cost. You can split it 4 or 5 ways. Okay, second thing is, let's go back to Excel, right? Again, Excel is really nice because it's keeping you honest. It's going to make sure you get the right answers. But this is Q1. There's another question, Q2, Q3. It's asking you to calculate the profit margin. We should have learned about profit margin back in a simple accounting finance class. In case you didn't, the little asterisk, star number 2, says, how do you calculate profit margin? That is going to be sum of profit divided by, basically it's the profit divided by sales. So how do we do that? Well, you can do it right here. This is what you need to do on that question. I'm showing you. Profit margin percentage, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But what you need to do is you need to say equal to, and instead of clicking, pivot tables doesn't like it. When you click it, it does this weird stuff and then things don't work. So instead of clicking, you just say, you enter in the cell numbers. So what is it? Profit margin is sum of profit divided by sales. So it's equal to C4 divided by B4, right? Okay, there it is. Now, it's asking us as a percentage. You're going to type it in as a number, like 75.5. But for the time being, we can just do it like this, put in percentage, go out to 1 decimal place. So, when you don't copy it, put it in 49.9, 75, and now just drag it down. So that's not for this question. I'm just showing you for a future question when it's asking about profit margin percentage. This is what you do. I'm going to put this recording up so you can review this. You can see what I've done. For the future questions, what I recommend for every single question, obviously in this case, profit margin is unnecessary. You got question 1 done correctly. For next question, what I recommend you do is go in and say move or copy, right? That's question 1. Let's say you're now ready for question 2. So you have records of it. Go in, move or copy, make a copy of it, Q2, and then come in right here in Q2, do whatever it is you need to do now, right? You might need to drag these out. You might need to, do something else, whatever, right? But bottom line is it's sometimes a little bit easier to copy an existing pivot table than it is to create a new one or create a new one. So do this for every question. Have this master Excel file. Make sure the extension is saved as XLX, because if it's a CSV, you'll save it. It's going to blow away all your pivot tables, okay? So this is the assignment. You've got time. Today is only Wednesday. You got time till midnight on Friday. We'll curve this up. Hopefully you're going to learn something useful out of it. I think some of us are going to learn, frankly, myself, some serious limitations of AI. It's a little bit awakening and slightly disappointing, right? From my standpoint, because I've been using AI for a while. I've been a big proponent. It's really good at some things. It still has a long way to go here, but it's getting there. So, guess what? Maybe in 3 months from now, it will be perfect. You give it the prompt and then bam, right? It probably will be there. I don't know if it'll be in 3 months. So be patient with it. You're learning a lot. And this is good application stuff that you can leverage in other classes in future work. You can put on your resume, you can talk about it in future job interviews. So there's a lot of applications. So that being said, we have 2 minutes left. Are there any questions, any last minute, not personal questions on like this isn't working, any high level questions about the exam, about homework 2? I'll be here for another minute, so please come see me if you have a question. Please come to my office hours. I got office hours tomorrow, 11:15, 12:15. Come see me. I'll be there in person, okay? Excuse me. 1 second. Let me start recording.